Here is how they're going to position the race between Donald Trump and Kamala Harris. She's the former prosecutor, the champion for law and order, and he is the criminal, the felon, the man she's going to take down. There it is. But it's not exactly that way, is it? Vice President Kamala Harris's record of backing a bail fund for Black Lives Matter convicted protesters now at the forefront of law enforcement minds as she attempts to paint herself as a law and order candidate, despite her being in favor of defunding the police, too. After more than a dozen years as San Francisco's district attorney and then as California's attorney general, Harris's track record includes a mix of soft on crime policies and progressive discrimination. Yeah, Harris was a prominent opponent of the cash bail system during her previous presidential campaign. She promoted the Minnesota Freedom Fund in June 2020 to help bail Black Lives Matter rioters out of jail, but only a fraction of the more than $41 million actually went to freeing rioters. Where'd all that money go? It's been reported that the fund spent hundreds of thousands of dollars to free an alleged knife murderer and a convicted rapist who was facing charges of sexual assault, kidnapping, and other charges. Freeing hard criminals and not rioters. If Kamala Harris is elected to office, then America will be nothing but a crime pit with her on top. Here to discuss this is retired United States Navy Intel Officer Lieutenant Stephen Rogers. Stephen, nice to see you here today. Look, Kamala Harris was gleeful. And I'm going to say this, and I want people to take it at face value. She liked throwing black guys in jail for smoking dope. Yeah, marijuana. She threw, almost 2,000, the preponderance, the heavy percentage of these people, black men in jail for smoking weed, and then laughed about smoking weed last time around when running for president. It is a remarkable tone deafness that I don't know I've seen in quite some time. What do you say about, let's start with that example.
Well, Steve, the fact of the matter is that her policies have left a wake of destruction, bloodshed across this country in every city, in every town, in every state in this country. And with regard, it seems to me that she thinks it's a joke locking up young black males, minorities, for smoking marijuana. She should have been busy out there keeping career criminals in prison who didn't get out and did the rapes and the murders and the shootings and on and on and on. And by the way, Steve, I blame her, the Harris administration, okay? This is what we're going to call it, for what happened in Union Station yesterday. I was appalled as a 38-year law enforcement veteran that the police didn't move in until it was too late. Those are her policies that are allowing these things to happen. She has conditioned criminals and enemies of this country to do what they're doing because they believe they're going to get away with it. Her policies.
Well, they do get away with it. That's the point. I mean, the protesters picked up in D.C. yesterday. They were back out in 15, 20 minutes, not very long ago. They're back out. They're all high-fiving, hugging, and away they go. Nobody's held to account unless, of course, you're somebody that protests on January the 6th, at which point you're still in jail. The double standard is galling, and in fact, it's just so wrong, it should have every American outraged. But, of course, those on the left are, well, that's different. It's not different, is it?
And who's a threat to democracy? She has the audacity to say Donald Trump is a threat to democracy. He's the guy that wants to keep democracy, keep this union united. She, and I'll say this, she and the Democrats who support her and the Biden administration, they are the threat to our democracy. And the proof, Steve, the proof is what we saw yesterday happen in Union Square, and God knows what's coming, and the blood being shed across the streets of every city and town, as I said earlier, in this country. There's your threat to democracy.
Well, and then you look at here's something else. And she was the border czar. They can try to call her something else now. They can try to deny that she was the border czar, appointed June 2021. And as late as Thursday of last week during the Republican National Convention, the major news outlets were still calling her the border czar until they realized, oh, gosh, that can be held against her. She can be held to account. So that's a lie. It's a Republican thing made up. She was never the border czar. But here has been my question for quite some time, and I ask it to you. How many American women have to die? How many times do we have to hear names like Rachel Morin, Laken Riley, Ruby Garcia, Jocelyn Nungri? How many American women have to pay with their lives because of the illegals that are violent criminals that have come across our southern border? Oh, well, there's crime in America anyway. Those people should never be here. Those crimes should never have been committed. Come on, America. How long, Steve?
Steve, one was enough. It should stop now, but it won't, because the Democrat Party, under, again, the supposedly Harris administration, and by the way, it's not a Biden-Harris administration now. It's always been a Harris-Biden administration. And we're going to get more of this if she's elected. I don't believe she'll be elected. But to your point, enough is enough. The American people have to step up. Democrat, Republican, Independent, we're all going to become victims of crime and of this chaos if we don't put a stop to it. And the only way we stop is to make sure that Donald Trump is elected president of the United States and that his policies are supported by a Republican Congress and a Republican Senate. It's as simple as that. Get to the polls.
Well, let's talk about that. Right now, the polling numbers, the Democrats have to be a little bit perplexed. The bounce that they're expecting in the honeymoon here, we're 4 days in, right? Took them 31 hours, but everybody was pretty clear that as soon as Joe Biden stepped aside, he endorsed Kamala Harris. 4 days in, she should have a 3 or 4 point bump in the polls. She doesn't. She's got like a 1 point bump. Some places 2, and that's the best. Donald Trump, according to brand new Emerson polling, leading in every single swing state except Wisconsin, where they're tied, which is where they were 4 months ago. So she gets her little honeymoon, and then it's going to start to deteriorate because everybody knows she was in charge of the border. Everybody knows she championed Bidenomics, which they won't even say anymore. We have to reject this candidate, don't we?
Yes, we do, because there's another poll that they don't talk about. How about polling the people going to the supermarkets that are trying to feed their kids and buy clothes for their kids? How about polling the people who are becoming victims of crime? There's a poll they don't want to talk about. And believe me, I would venture to say nearly 100% are against electing this person to office. She's bad. She's trouble. She's a threat to this country. And we have an opportunity now to turn things around and to make America great again, as Donald Trump says.
Well, and as we sit here, I'm just going to share some brand new polling that just popped up on Real Clear Politics. It just blooms sometimes right here in front of us. Here are the numbers. I'll let you get on that and we'll call it good. But Rasmussen, straight up against Harris, Trump-Harris. Trump +7, 50-43. And in the New York Times Siena poll that leans left, still Trump winning, 48-47. If they thought Kamala Harris was going to be the answer, I don't think they understood the question. You get the final answer here yourself.
Our enemies are watching. I'm talking about China, Russia, and other enemies overseas. Domestic terrorists are watching. We'll let them get this message from the American people. We know enough's enough. We're making big changes come November. And indeed, you're going to see a very powerful, powerful America emerge once again.
There you have it. I greatly appreciate it.
Officer, thank you. God bless
Lieutenant
you for your good
Stephen
work.
Rogers.
We appreciate you, my friend.
Thank you.